The NFL draft is right around the corner, and if you're looking for more 7-round NFL mocks, then hit that subscribe button and make sure that those notifications are turned on. This mock that you're about to see was previously recorded on our Chat Sports Las Vegas Raiders channel. So coming up right now, a 7-round, 12-pick mock draft for the Las Vegas Raiders. Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Reporting. Guess what, man? We got a brand new Raiders mock draft, and I ran this simulation on PFN, and because I have yet to do a mock with all 12 picks that currently the Raiders have, I wanted to do no trades. So there's no trades whatsoever in this mock draft. In round one, at pick number 7, I got the Las Vegas Raiders taking cornerback Christian Gonzalez. I know there's going to be a lot of people out there like, well, wait a minute, Mitch. The Raiders, they signed David Long. They signed Duke Shelley. Both of those guys are a little bit smaller. 5'11" for David Long, 5'9" for Duke Shelley. So if you still have the ability to go out and get a long, lanky corner, a true number one, you got to do it. And the way that this mock fell, all 3 quarterbacks were gone. The only QB available at 7 was Will Levis. So to me, it was between, do I go Christian Gonzalez or do I go Will Levis? I'm going to go with the player that I have a lot more confidence in being a star-studded dude in year one. So this is what Daniel Jeremiah has to say on Christian Gonzalez. He's an explosive outside corner, possessing a rare blend of physical and athletic traits. Gonzalez plays with fluid hips and blazing top-end speed, which should help him match against top-end targets in the future. He can rough up the release or use mirror and match footwork from press man coverage, and he has all the tools to become highly capable route shadow. His technique will get away from him at times, and he doesn't play with the level of instincts or ball skills that should make heavy ball production automatic. When I look at Gonzalez, though, he's my number 1 corner. His upside to me is off the charts. He has the ability to be the number 1 cornerback in the NFL. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I do think he's going to be top 10. You give this young man 3 years in the NFL, he's going to be a top 10 corner. 51 tackles, 4 INTs, 7 PBUs. Then you insert him into this Raiders defense. Like, this allows Nate Hobbs to go back into the inside. And then you got Chris Gonzalez as one of your outside corners. You can split time between David Long Jr., Duke Shelley, Brandon Faison, hell, even Amik Robertson. But I know for a fact that I'm going to want Gonzalez and I'm going to want Nate Hobbs on the field for every single snap. But my question to you is this. Me telling you that Will Levis is available. Me telling you that Chris Gonzalez is available. Every cornerback's available. Jalen Carter, he was off the board. Top 3 QBs, they're off the board. Will Anderson, gone. In this scenario, if you're sitting down with Dave Ziegler, you're sitting down with Josh McDaniels, who are you going with? At pick number 7. I'm going to make this the ad-pin combo here. So what does that mean? It means that you're going to get hit with that ad break right now. So let me know who the Raiders should take at number 7. Coming in here at round 2, pick number 38. I got the Las Vegas Raiders going linebacker here. They're going to go with Drew Sanders. So I was able to get my number 1 corner, and I was also able to get my number 1 linebacker in this year's class. There's going to be some people that say, wait a minute, Drew Sanders or Jack Campbell? And that's going to be a debate. But to me, the best all-around overall linebacker, middle linebacker, is Sanders. 103 tackles last season, 13.5 tackles for loss, 9.5 sacks. He is an athlete. And since I live in Dallas, Texas, I know people that went to high school with him. I know people who have watched him closely. He is an absolute dog. Went to Alabama, then had to go to Arkansas. I do. There's a reason why I think he's this good, and there's a reason why I'm taking him at number 38. That's how confident I am in him. This is what Daniel Jeremiah has to say on Drew Sanders. Unique linebacker prospect with the physical traits, athleticism, and skill set to be deployed as an inside linebacker or a stand-up edge rusher. The former 5-star Alabama signee transferred to Arkansas for the 2022 season and posted eye-catching production with the Razorbacks. He plays with good technique in take-ons and has plenty of pursuit range. He's still finding his footing with his run fits and tackle consistency. He's the tough out for interior protection as a blitzing linebacker and has natural rush talent to haunt quarterbacks off the edge. Sanders' athletic gifts, versatility, and toughness could help him become a highly impactful playmaker with Pro Bowl upside. When I look at this Raiders defense, the amount of players that you can find, high upside, Pro Bowl caliber, but also intelligent. Drew Sanders, whatever defense he's in, he's going to be able to excel in. And for that reason, which is why I went with him at round 2, pick number 38. Now, if you don't already know, we're doing a Raiders mock draft here live on the Raiders Report. Huge shout out to all of you that are tuning in right now. The next pick coming up here is going to be round 3, number 70. The biggest team need for the Silver and Black is defensive tackle. And the fact that Mazi Smith was still on the board, I had to do it. It was an easy pick for me. If you're looking at talent alone, he's a top 40 pick. But there's going to be some NFL teams out there that might not have him on the board, or they might slide him down their chart because of some of the off-the-field issues. 49 tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss, a sack last season for the Wolverines. And at 6'3", 337 pounds, the Raiders need a big-bodied defensive tackle that they can rely on. I like him more than Neil Farrell Jr. I like him a lot more than Matthew Butler. And this is what Daniel Jeremiah had to say on Mazi Smith. Dontari Poe might be the physical and athletic player comparison for Smith, but more consistency from Smith is needed before he finds the Pro Bowl, as Poe did twice in his career. Smith's blend of size and quickness is rare. He can punch and control a base, block with relative ease. However, he struggles to match the initial movement of move blockers, which diminishes his effectiveness. He has space-eating potential, but needs to become more consistent at taking on double teams and securing his gap. Smith's size and testing could give his draft slotting some juice, but he's more of a day 2 talent with exciting upside than a plug-and-play starter. I mean, you guys already know, a lot of giggities in there, but to me, Smith has that upside. If the Raiders want to go cheap in free agency and not address their defensive tackle need, at the time I'm making this video, then so be it. But you still have to be able to address it in the draft. Would I love to get a high defensive tackle early on? I would. But to me, Kalijah Kancey, gone. Jalen Carter, I don't know if the Raiders are going to take him. I think they take Gonzalez anyway. So to me, the way that I build it is I got a cornerback, I got a linebacker, and I got a defensive tackle. 3 players that I believe will start for the Raiders over the next 3, 4, 5 seasons. So if you guys haven't already, if you want to subscribe to our draft channel here at Chat Sports, I want to know, are you subbed? If you are, spam Real1 for life. So this is what I want you to do. Take a second. Go to youtube.com/chatnfl. Link's going to be available for you guys in the comments and in the description of today's video. If you're like, Mitch, why would I subscribe over there? I'm a Raider fan. It's for more draft content. That's just my God honest truth. So we already released a video and a 2023 NFL mock draft with round 1 and round 2 picks. You can check that out. We also have another video over there of just a brand new mock draft released by Tom Downey. He was our top NFL draft guy here. If you're just in this business where you're like, all right, man, I got to learn more about NFL draft prospects. I got to learn more about some of these players that potentially the Silver and Black could take at 7, or potentially the players could take if the Raiders were to trade back. This is the place that you need to go. I take a lot of pride in learning my stuff about the Raiders. Our draft channel takes a lot of pride in learning about the draft, so I think you will too. Let's go to the other pick here, round 3, pick 100, which was got in the Darren Waller trade, and I'm going to go with Ji'Ayir Brown. At this current moment, he was the top safety available. I've spoke to a few of my college football friends who live in New Jersey and say, this kid's the real deal from Trenton, New Jersey. 74 tackles last season for the Nittany Lions, 4.5 sacks, 4 picks, 4 PBUs. The reason why he was my pick, he was the top safety left available on the board. And I was looking at this draft saying, I'm going to take defense, 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 and a little bit more defense. Jeremiah on Brown said, a versatile defensive back, there's that V word again, who has shown the ability to line up over the slot, play as a down safety, and patrol the outfield as a cover 1 safety ready to read and range. The lack of speed and explosiveness Brown showed at the NFL Scouting Combine won't help his draft stock, but he's a fiery run defender and plays with undeniable coverage instincts. He has an excellent motor that fuels him throughout the game as well. He needs to play with a little bit more discipline, or veteran quarterbacks and play callers will bait him into mistakes. What I saw there was versatility. I'm also a Penn State guy. I watched a lot of Penn State football. he's a damn good, strong safety. And if you put him back there, where, let's say you put Marcus Epps up into the box, you drop Ji'Ayir Brown back, strong safety, and then you got Trevon Merrick, that's a really good young safety core that I do think the Raiders team could use. Let's go down to round 4, pick 109. This guy continues to rise up draft boards, and I'll be real with you. I don't think he's going to be available here in round 4, pick 109, but I'm going to go with DeMarvion Overshown. The more and more tape I watch on this young man, the more and more I start to love him. Over on locals, dude, we were taking him at pick 70. Like, real talk. 95 tackles, 10 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 5 PBUs. You like versatility? I mean, that's why I love this young man. He is still just learning the linebacker position. And when you're at 6'4", 224, you have the athletic traits that he has. Sky's the limit here. Daniel Jeremiah on Overshown said, former safety turned linebacker who has slowly but surely improved his feet and recognition over the last 3 seasons. Whether playing inside or outside, Overshown will need to get stronger and more effective at taking on blockers and tackling with security. His tape shows much improved key reading and play recognition, which could prove critical in allowing him to play at a consistently faster pace to the football. Overshown could struggle to hold up to the downhill running attacks, but his instincts and blitz talent create a potential opportunity for him as a nickel-dime linebacker. If you've watched this show before, you know that I believe that Patrick Graham could go with a nickel-dime package, and it could happen very often. So if you're able to put 2 linebackers out on the field, and one of those guys is able to be Overshown, I really do think that this would be a great, great fit for the silver and black. Let's go here to round 5, pick 141. Remember, the Raiders got 12 picks in total, and this is a pick that I do think a lot of y'all are ultimately going to like. It's Mekhi Garner, and I took him, man, probably like 3 months ago in a mock draft. If you're looking for an athlete, it's Garner. Like, he is an insane athlete. 6'2", almost 220, runs like a deer, 5-star athlete coming out of high school, 43 tackles at LSU, 1.5 tackles for loss, no picks, 8 PBUs. The video that he had that went kind of viral during the scouting combine is he actually, when he was running this 40-yard dash, ran out of bounds, so like they had to stop the clock. I've heard from some people, awareness is a little bit of an issue for him, but you want upside at this point of the draft? I got Christian Gonzalez already. I'm willing to take in round 5, since I have 3 fifth-round picks, a little bit of upside. So Garner is a big, long corner with a jarring press. However, he's missing the footwork and body control to phase and match NFL routes that force him to change direction. He's a handful when he's in position to challenge the throw, but teams might need to plug him into a cover 2 scheme or try him at safety where he can help support the run and cover tight ends. The thing that I love about him when I watch tape is his ability to cover tight ends. If the Raiders want to get versatile, if the Raiders want to get a little bit wild, because the more and more the NFL goes on, the better and better tight ends continue to get at catching the football. If Gardner, not saying year 1's going to be able to line up against Travis Kelce, but I don't know how many more years Kelce has. If I believe that Gardner, who is 6'2", basically 220, and runs the way that he does, and I'm going to use a basketball term here because one of my really good buddies who I trust for film breakdown told me, if I was an NFL scout and if I was an NFL defensive coordinator, I would use a box and 1 with Mekhi Garner on a tight end because that's how good he is, where if you give him an assignment, he's going to crush it. When you start asking him to do other things where he's got to use his mind a little bit more is where he's going to struggle. You line him up mano-a-mano with a lot of tight ends, he's going to have success. And if that's the way that the Raiders want to roll, I'm ready to rock and roll. Now, remember, y'all, you can always interact with me on social media at MitchellRenz365. Also, we're over on Locals at RaidersReport.locals.com. News, personal life, meet more diehard Raider fans. That's how I would explain all the places to be able to interact with me. Let's go to round 5, pick 144. I'm going to go with the tight end here, and he was the best tight end available. I was hoping, I was praying that Zach Kuntz was going to be available because for those who don't know, you know that I love that guy. But Luke Schoonmaker, 6'6", 250, he's a hell of an athlete. Has he dealt with some injuries? No doubt about it with the Wolverines. Also, the Michigan, they're a run-first team. And we'll see how the Raiders decide to use their linebacker group or tight end group. But I do think that this is going to be a run-first team, mixing a little bit with some pass as well with Jimmy Garoppolo. But if Schoonmaker was the third tight end, maybe the second next to O.J. Howard and Austin Hooper, I think that role fits him really well. He's a versatile combination tight end, capable of performing at a variety of tasks in 1, 2, or 3 tight end sets. Schoonmaker steps foot on the field, ready for action as a run blocker, and does a nice job of competing in the entry and sustained phases of the block. He will need to add more muscle and play strength, but already has a feel for creating run lanes angles with his footwork. He has the athletic talent to run a slightly expanded route tree, but he needs to do a better job of competing aggressively for catch space and meeting throws with extended hands. So to me, this is your tight end 2. Like, if you're able to find a tight end 2 in round 5 that can do all the things that Schoonmaker's able to do, you're going to feel pretty confident about it. Are the injuries a scare? Of course. But I do know that the upside is there, and when I'm a Raiders team and I got 12 draft picks, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look for upside, especially when I went out and I signed 2 other free agents at tight end, and I also re-signed Jesper Horsted. Schoonmaker can be an impact player in the future. Now, guys, we are doing a mock draft here on the Raiders Report, and I know that some people are going to be a little bit questionable about the pick that I'm going to do because it's a quarterback. But realistically, you got Jimmy Garoppolo. You got Chase Garbers. Besides that, not a lot of quarterbacks going on. So the best quarterback available that I thought realistically this team could take is Aidan O'Connell. The Raiders went to Purdue's, I want to say pro day, or they went to go scout O'Connell. And 22 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 6'3", 210. I know that the Raiders like this young man. Does that mean that they like him enough to take him anything earlier than that? God, I sure hope not. But, Dorian Thompson-Robinson off the board. Tanner McKee gone. Hendon Hooker way gone. I had a pick between either Aidan O'Connell or I had to go with Cunningham from Louisiana or Louisville. I ended up going with Aidan O'Connell. Jake Haener, pick before me, just went off the board. O'Connell's 2021 tape is better than what we saw from him in 2022. But there were still flashes last season. He's a pocket passer who can throw with solid accuracy over the first 2 levels, but struggles with trajectory and rhythm on deep targets. O'Connell has below average mobility inside and outside of the pocket. He needs to keep his progressions on schedule and his throws on time to make up for his average arm strength. He had to carry a heavy percentage of the offense on his back at Purdue and could benefit from an offense that allows him to manage games. O'Connell has backup potential and his upside is slightly above average. When I hear about a quarterback that I think that could manage games, one of the best guys to learn underneath Jimmy Garoppolo is a quarterback that he's got, I'll say, the weird swagger of when he's under center, he's in control. When he's in the huddle, he's in control. And to me, the way that the Raiders are trying to build their team right now is around, hey, we're going to make the job as easy as possible on the QB. We're going to stack up on offense. We got a good tight end room, great wide receiver room, got a hell of a running back. And if, God forbid, Jimmy Garoppolo goes down, O'Connell's going to be smart enough to be able to come into that offense and execute it, which is what this Raiders team ultimately wants. So my question to you is this. If you had to name a late-round quarterback that the Raiders should draft, who would it be? Jake Haener was gone, but hey, if you want to throw his name down there, cool. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, go for it. I'm talking about after round 4, who's the quarterback that you want the Raiders to take? Because you got 3 5th, 2 6th, and 2 7s. Let's go to round 6 here, pick 204. I'm going to go Atonio Mafi, and when you look at the guard position here for the Raiders, I believe Jermaine Illuminor, Colt Miller, they have it solidified at tackle. You can always use the extra guard talent, and when I saw what Mafi was able to do at the NFL Scouting Combine, super impressed. Was one of my biggest winners out there. He showed the athletic ability. He showed why he was a hell of a player for the Bruins, and at 6'4", 340 pounds, he's a big dude. I know Carmen Brasil loves big offensive guards. So for a guy who had 13 games played, 3 sacks allowed, this Raiders interior offensive line it's still up for question. So if you're able to add Mafi, and let's say he's a second, third string guy, great. The upside's there to me. You brought back Netane Moody. You got there Munford, right? We'll see what the Raiders decide to do with some other positions here on the interior offensive line. But Alex Barrs, free agent. Jermaine Illuminor, you re-signed him. Hannes Grossu, you re-signed him as well. So realistically, I mean, you're dealing with Do they maybe kick in there Mumford in on the inside? That's a potential. You traded for Justin Herron. I just know that the interior offensive line for this Raiders is the biggest question mark for this O-line. And if you're able to add a guy like that, I'm excited about it. Let's go to round 6, pick 214. I'm going to go linebacker again here. So I took a linebacker earlier on with Drew Sanders at 38. And I'm going to go with Shaka Hayward from Duke, 6'3", 240. I saw a lot of quotes from coaches, and this is probably a given because he went to Duke. But guess what? It's stuff that McDaniels and Ziegler care about. There was a lot of coaches that say Shaka Hayward is one of the smartest football players that they have ever been around. 93 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 2 INTs for the Blue Devils last season. Daniel Jeremiah, in terms of what he thought of Shaka, is this. Hayward is a long-armed run and hit linebacker who will not be cheated as a wrap-up tackler. He's eager to find the action, but can be inconsistent recognizing play development and getting into proper positioning. Whether he's a run defender or in coverage, teams will like the body type and physicality that are part of the package. And being a plus special teams performer can help only help his cause. So to me, I'm looking at a guy, worst case scenario, you're looking at a special teams dude. So for coaches, scouts, all saying, worst case, he's a special teams guy. Very smart player, but he's long, he's versatile, and he's better in man coverage. That's what this Raiders defense is going to look like. So to me, if I'm able to get a good special teams guy in round 6, 214, sign me up for it. Let's now go to round 7 at pick 220. We got 2 picks left here. Jalen Redmond out of Oklahoma, an undersized offensive tackle at 6'3", 300 pounds basically. However, versatility. 23 tackles last season for the Sooners, 10 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 4 PBUs. He's NFL scouting combine testing was outstanding. So he's a really good athlete, and he was able to impress a lot of people for what he did at the combine. Daniel Jeremiah had this to say. As he displayed quickness and explosiveness that doesn't always show up on his college tape, he possesses plenty of toughness but moves on heavy feet. His lack of bend makes him a linear mover with limited playmaking potential. While he might not fill up an NFL stat sheet, he does have the base strength for consideration as a rotational 4-3 nose tackle with some block-eating elements to his game. So I hear he's a tough guy. Sure, his footwork might not be the best. Put him in the weight room, add a few extra pounds to him. He was tested so well at the combine that in round 7, I'll take the risk at a big-time Raiders need. The final pick here in my Raiders mock draft at 231, Jartavius Martin. And I like Martin a lot at 6 foot 195, 64 tackles, 3 INTs, 11 PBUs, 2 forced fumbles last season for the Illini. And at this point, I'm looking for versatility at safety, nickelback corner. All of those things fit into that. So, what is Martin? He's a versatile cornerback and safety prospect with the size and physical talent to play nickelback or aligned as a deep safety. A buttery, smooth hip swivel allows him to glide and transition effectively from his pedal, but he has just average route recognition to stay connected to clever route runners. Martin's speed and explosiveness at the NFL Scouting Combine was eye-catching, but he needs to play consistently to that speed on the field. A team will need to decide where to play him, but he has the potential to become an early contributor and starter further down the road. So I hear potential corner, probably safety, but with his athleticism from the Combine, a potential special teams player. And if you're in the round 7, I'm looking for impact special teams guys. So this was my Raiders mock draft. I took Chris Gonzalez in round 1, Drew Sanders in round 2, Mazi Smith in round 3, Ji'Ayir Brown in round 3. Also, DeMarvion Overshown in round 4. My round 5 picks were Mekhi, Garner, Luke Schoonmaker, Aidan O'Connell, Atonio Mafi, Shaka Hayward, Jalen Redmond, and then Jartavius Martin. I want to know now from the nation who's tuned in right now, how would you grade it? Don't go easy on me. That's what she said. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know. I feel like I addressed the defense very, very well. And if the Raiders were to come out with this grade, this draft, I know I'd feel pretty good about it. Before I give you my grade for those of you watching live, let me know now, right now, what the grade you would give me.